All right, welcome back, everyone. Coach Gino back with Mark. Mark, give him a shout.
Yo, what up?
All right, everyone. We are back today. We just had an episode a few days ago talking about some of the gym updates, talking about the tournaments coming up this weekend. So we're going to kind of fly back past that stuff, and we're going to go right to the fight breakdowns. And we had a couple good fights that I missed while I was in Thailand a couple weeks ago. We had, of course, the Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira fight. We also had this past weekend, we have Arnold Allen versus Max Holloway, a great bout. And then coming this weekend, we got the Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia boxing match. That's going to be good. So wanted to touch base and talk about some of these fights and talk about my thoughts on some of these bouts. Let's talk about first the pay-per-view that UFC 287, Adesanya versus Pereira. So, again, I was in Thailand during this time. We went out to the bars around 10 a.m. to check it out. And the place was filled with Europeans and Americans that were trying to catch the fights while on vacation. And, the time difference over there, it's kind of awkward watching the fights that early in a bar. But, it is what it is. We got to watch it live. And from top to bottom, it looked like this fight card was stacked. I mean, from the top of the main card, Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. Rodriguez looks like he had a really decisive win over Raul Rosas Jr. And, Rodriguez, him being a little more experienced and Raul being so young, you can't be mad at the way it went out. Rosas was definitely looking to climb the division real quick and was calling out the champ at this early stage. But, right now he's had to step back with Christian Rodriguez and he has to kind of reassess and recalibrate before he moves on to the next step. So we'll see how Rosas does with the next step. And, Rodriguez was able to, take the hype out of Raul Rosas's sales and it was able to capitalize, get the victory. So congrats to Christian Rodriguez on that one. Next up, Kevin Holland returns to the win column with the win over Santiago Ponzinibbio. And I didn't see the KO. Mark, did you remember how he knocked him out? I don't remember if it was a specific shot that hit him or he just hit ground and pound.
I can't remember right now. Let me look it up.
Kevin Holland, though, has been on a little bit of a losing streak. I mean, he had Khamzat, I believe, last time he fought. And, that obviously we all remember how that one turned out with him having the issue with, not Khamzat was the last one. The last one was Stephen Thompson, and that was a banger of a fight. Holland was demanding to stay standing with Thompson and didn't end up going his way for that. And Khamzat Chimaev right before that with the loss. So 2 losses in a row. Good to see him back in the win column with this next fight. Ponzinibbio is very legit, and he's definitely someone you ought to watch out for. Kevin Holland back in the welterweight division as well, so gotta love to see that, him back in a weight class where he's got the size advantage. And we'll see if he can keep up the momentum. He'll definitely be able to climb the rankings, and hopefully one day we see him with the title shot. Would love to see Kevin Holland get a shot. Love the guy, the way he fights, and very entertaining from him. Mark, anything on Holland's finish?
Can't find it right now, but it looks like it was just a one-shot KO. I can't remember right now.
Round 3 KO or TKO. Okay, it is what it is. Now, moving on, Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. I had Adrian Yanez for this fight, but Rob Font put a stamp on it. Round 1 with a brutal knockout of Adrian Yanez. So watch that fight back. It was only one round. I think 3 minutes into the first round. That one was a great one. Following that, we had Gilbert Burns and Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal's retirement fight with Gilbert Burns. And it seemed like for that fight, Gilbert was able to execute his plan better, was able to keep Jorge away and at bay, and was able to get the takedowns. So definitely ups to Gilbert Burns, and he's definitely climbing his way up back to a title shot. And, it's sad to see Jorge Masvidal go. I've been watching the man for years, and he's been a great fighter. But, Father Time is always undefeated, and he's going to eventually catch all of us. So Masvidal is now moving on to the next stage of his career. I know he's got that game bred fighting championships that he's been hosting. So hopefully that takes off, and we can see him still in the fight game in the near future and for a long time. Now, the main event of the night. Man, what a turnaround. Alex Pereira gets knocked out by Israel Adesanya in the second round. And for all of us that were watching, I think all of us knew that Pereira was able to get beaten, but I don't think anyone predicted that vicious of a knockout. But man, I mean, just goes to show you, it takes one shot. It just takes one. I mean, Adesanya, he caught Pereira with that shot twice in 2 different fights. In both times, Pereira was saved by the bell, and Adesanya wasn't able to finish. This time, Adesanya was able to finish in the last minute of the second round, and he had plenty of time. So he was able to throw that overhand right hook, able to follow up with another overhand right once Pereira was rocked, and a left hook on the way down, and able to get that nice stamp and finish on the fight and become the two-time middleweight UFC champion. So huge victory for Israel Adesanya, and it's a really inspiring story for everyone. I feel like all of us who have seen this storyline go about, and you can see, as you know, you lose to a guy 3 times in a row, and on the 4th time you win. I mean, you gotta love it. I mean, it happens so often where all of us, get beaten, we get taken, out of our element, or we just think people have our number. But Izzy was confident, he believed himself, and he was able to get that win back, and just goes to show you what the power of the mind can do, and the power of self-belief, and actually putting that to work, and actually using it to motivate you to get better. Because I think Izzy had the right mindset after that last loss. He was able to see the light at the end of the tunnel and say, hey, Pereira may have been able to get the wins on these last fights, but I still got breath, I still got life in me, and I'm going to continue to fight until I beat him. So that's what he did. That's what he ended up stating before the fights, and he made it come to reality. So you got to speak these things into existence sometimes, and I commend Israel Adesanya for all of the backup. He was all the words he spoke, he was able to back it up, and he was able to cash that check. So I'm looking forward to see the rest of the reign for Israel Adesanya in the middleweight division. Alex Pereira looks like he's moving up to the lightweight heavyweight division, so I don't think we're going to see a 5th fight anytime in the near future. But you never know. With these guys, if it's a big money fight, there may be an opportunity for them to get it on again. So I'm happy to see it. Happy that Adesanya is back on the top of the middleweight division, and I'm looking forward to see what's next for him. Mark, what's your thoughts on the UFC 287 card?
I was happy to see Izzy win too. I think the last podcast you said that you didn't think that Izzy was going to just try to take it easy. He said that you thought he was just going to come at him.
Yeah,
and
he did.
And he did, and it was cool to see.
Oh, man. He had to. I mean, this is the thing. It was like when you're looking at a guy like Pereira, if you are taking your time and kind of, he likes to lull guys to sleep sometimes. He puts them in a false sense of security. The next thing you know, blam, he hits you with a big shot. So you got to stay on him if you are going to. Izzy was committed to boxing out of those situations from before. Like, he would just kind of shell up when he was against the cage. This time he committed to boxing out of those positions and ended up working his way. So, again, really great to see. I am very interested to see what the future lies ahead for both of these competitors, because they both are great fighters to watch.
You think when the offensive fighter, like he had Izzy against the cage, you think because he was hurting him, he hurt him with a big knee, it looked like, you think like he starts to get a little confident, and that's where that counter strike comes in?
I think Izzy even spoke about it after the bout in the post-fight press conference. He was talking about, he was just playing possum a little bit, and that happens all the time. Fighters will often play like they're more hurt than they actually are. Next thing you know, they catch you with a big shot. That may have been the case for the first fight. I mean, obviously we saw Izzy get stopped when he was like kind of rolling, and Pereira was on him in the 5th round. But you never know in these situations. It could go either way. So the guy can get knocked out and get hurt. The other guy could knock him out with a big haymaker shot. But, when it comes down to it, like these kind of definitive victories, when a guy goes out and goes down, pretty much safe bet the guy's not getting back up, especially when a guy on top isn't hurt and he's fresh. Izzy was not going to let Pereira back up there, and it was a decisive stamp on the middleweight division as to who's the king of that division. So a lot of things to take away from that fight. Watch it back if you guys didn't. I still got to watch it back a second time myself. I think I've only watched it the first time, along with the numerous replays I've seen on the highlight reels. So I definitely want to see that fight a little closer next time. So moving on to the next UFC event. Let's go over the main 2 fights that were on that card. The co-main event, Edson Barbosa versus Billy Quarantillo. Man, Edson Barbosa back again with another KO, this time in the 1st round again. And I want to say it was a liver shot. I got to look at it again, but it was a nasty KO from what I remember. I think a lot of the times when we see Edson Barbosa go for that KO victory, I mean, it's always pretty devastating. It's always like, it's like a brutal knockout. And he's typically just it was a knee. I think it was a jumping knee. That's right. It was he had a jumping knee at Quarantillo, and then was able to put the lights out. So that was a huge victory for Edson Barbosa. Still relevant, and at 45, man, been killing it at 45. So I'm excited to see the progress of Edson Barbosa in the featherweight division. Maybe he'll get a title shot down the line. But right now, the other featherweight king in the division, the main event of the evening, Max Holloway, was able to put away Arnold Allen with the decision and was able to get the victory. Man, Max Holloway, still to this day, still a contender, still one of the most dangerous guys in the featherweight division. Super excited that he got that victory. I love Arnold Allen as well. He's a great fighter, but Max Holloway was able to just keep it nice and fluid, was able to switch the stances, was able to keep the distance, and was able to just get the timing of Arnold Allen. And it's very unfortunate that, we didn't get to see Arnold Allen push the gas a little harder like he did in the 5th round. He should have done that from the 1st round, I feel. But 5-round fights, and then you're talking about a former champ like Max, you got to be cautious. Max is always dangerous in every situation. So I think it did make sense, the game plan, but when it comes down to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, if you're not picking it up by then against Max and you're not trying to push the pace on it, and he's going to coast and he's going to start to get his flow state on, and he's just going to be able to rip away at the shots. So just be careful. I mean, whenever you're fighting Max Holloway, any fighter needs to be careful when they're fighting Max Holloway, because he's always dangerous, always a threat, and you never know when he's just going to snap a real quick 3-4 piece combo at you. He's got quick hands, one of the best boxers in the division, and pretty much I think only the second to Volk, depending on how you see the Yair Rodriguez matchup. I think Max Holloway is still number 2 in the number 1 contender in the division, depending on how Yair fares with Alex Volkanovski on their next fight. So featherweight division, still a hot division. We're going to see some action in the near future with that. Mark, did you get to catch those fights?
I was driving, so I got home midway through the main event.
Okay. A little bit of it. So not you got to see that Allen was getting beat up. He was pretty pieced up at the end. It was not a pretty sight.
Yeah, it was good to see Max. It's always fun to watch Max fight.
Yep. I'm excited. Now, tomorrow we also have on Saturday we also have a UFC event. Sergey Pavlovich fights Curtis Blades. We got a good fights on there. Brad Tavares is there. Bobby Green. Excuse me. So we got that card coming up on this weekend. That fight is obviously going to be good, but the main fight this weekend everyone is talking about is got to be Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia in the boxing match of the year. Now, if you're talking about big hitters, Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, there's no bigger hitters than those two in that division. Now, when we look at it, we have two guys who have huge knockout power, two guys who aren't really known for footwork or crazy combinations. These guys are known for big knockout shots. Now, let me pull up and make sure I got the right weight class for these two. They're going to be fighting for the 135-pound division. Let me see. What title is on the line? Let me double check this real quick. So they're looking at the fight for Saturday night. And it looks like, most people have been giving Gervonta Davis the pick, and I'm going to go ahead and go with that. The WBC Interim Lightweight Championship. This is going to be for the... this is actually a catchweight. I didn't realize that. It's going to be a catchweight bout between Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. But still, nonetheless, this is going to be a ridiculous fight in the lightweight division. So... Gervonta Davis definitely has a knockout power, and he's been a little more active than Ryan Garcia. But Ryan Garcia's got the speed with the hands. I feel like he's got. I would give a little more power to Gervonta, but a little more speed to Ryan Garcia. Footwork wise, I'm not a big fan of either's footwork. But again, this is boxing. These guys throw heavy, and you love to see it. You want to see one of the guys get dropped. And I'm not entirely sure where the odds are on the betting side of things, but if I would bet, since Davis is the champ, I would say he is the favorite. So, with boxing fights, we don't get too many of these anymore, these big super fight matchups. We get them once in a blue moon, and then every other time we get some decent matchups that only the boxing purists will know. But this one, I think Tank and Garcia has made they both have made a big name for themselves in the mainstream media, and they've shown with their fight styles that they are fan friendly. So this is going to be something that a lot of people are going to be tuning into. I'm getting texts from people who I know don't watch boxing, and they're trying to watch this fight. So it's going to be a very fun night. Saturday night is going to be wild. Everyone is going to be tuning into this fight to see who gets put down. I think someone's getting knocked out. I feel like someone's getting knocked out, and I feel like Tank has the power to do so. If Ryan does move the feet a little bit more, maybe he can avoid some of those shots. But if he tries to stand and bang with Tank, I'm picking Tank to win that victory. And at the end of the day, each one of them has a puncher's chance. Who knows where we're going to end up with this, but we will see at the end of the day. The winner of this is still a champion. Either winner of this is still a champion, since it is catch weight. So we'll see how the lightweight division works in the near future, because we got a lot of fights in this division. We got Lomachenko and Haney. We got other fighters coming in to see who's going to be the number one. And I think at the end of the day, most of these guys are able to beat each other at any given Sunday. It just depends on who's having a better night that night. So tune in Saturday, guys. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good evening of fights, I'm sure. If you guys are watching the UFC, or you guys are watching boxing, regardless, there's gonna be good fights on both cards. So excited to see a good weekend of fights. Again, big shout outs to all the competitors going out this weekend, and for all those who are fighting and who are going into the jiu-jitsu tournaments. So all you guys, make sure you guys stay focused. I know this weekend is, the weekends are always tough when people are hanging out and partying. You only got a few more days left, so just stay strong, stay focused, and you guys are going to have a good time out there. I'm sure of it. So with that, not too much else for today to chat about. Mark, any last thoughts or anything else we got to cover before we out of here?
Any favorite food from Thailand?
Oh, Thailand. Yes, I got to talk about the Thailand trip. Maybe we should do a full episode on the Thailand trip. But real quick, everyone, the Thailand trip, the food everywhere in Thailand is great. The Thais are great cooks. And this is my second trip to Thailand, and I had a blast. Went out with the wife and was able to enjoy the time out there. I was able to train over at the PK Sanchai gym, which is a great facility, great training. Stayed most of the time in Bangkok and was able to explore the city. So, yeah, a lot of fun stuff from Thailand. A lot of stuff that we were able to pick up gear-wise, and a lot of things that we enjoyed to do. So I think it's something that if you are a fan of Muay Thai and if you love to train martial arts, it's definitely one of the must-dos on your bucket list. And go train in Thailand. Go train with the Thais. Go enjoy the culture. Enjoy the time out there in the motherland of Muay Thai. And it's something that's life-changing, I feel. So a lot of you, I'm sure, have thought about it, have had little, ideas to go out there. But if you're really serious about it, reach out. I'm happy to give you insight. I know I've had a lot of help. I know Rocky, shout out to Rocky Herrera and Wendell Galino and JP. All those guys have given me insights on what to do when I'm out there. I have a lot of friends who've been out there regularly, so I have a decent amount of insight on where to go in Thailand and where to stay. As Americans, they're pretty friendly, and it's not that difficult to get around. And I just can't wait to go back, man. So if you guys are interested in hearing more about the Thailand and trip, let me know. Ask your questions, and we'll try to bring it into the next podcast where we can really dive deep onto the Thai culture, talk about Muay Thai out there, talk about the fights we were able to watch, the food, the climate, everything. There's so much to talk about when it comes down to travel and going out to a place like Thailand that would require us a good amount of time to sit and discuss it. But again, overall, I recommend you all check it out. I recommend you all go and look into it and see if it's doable, and do it before you have too many commitments tying you down and you don't have any freedom to do what you need to do or do what you want to do out there, because it's a fun place. Thailand is literally the land of the free. Thai means free if you translate it, and it's a place where you can really have a good time. So if you guys have questions about it, let me know, and I'm happy to guide you guys. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Subscribe, like, share, and let us know what you guys want to hear in the next podcast. Mark, you want to send them off for today?
Go Warriors.
Go
Thanks
Warriors.
for listening,
Let's go.
everyone.
Go Dubs.